Welcome everyone, thank you for joining. We will be starting our webinar very shortly. Welcome everyone, thank you so much for coming today. We will be starting in just a second. All right, Greg, it is off to the races. Here you go.
Hi everyone, welcome to Litera's webinar, Amplifying Impact in Legal Drafting, Unveiling Litera Create Content with New Generative AI Capabilities. I'm Greg Coates, I'm the VP of Generative AI at Litera, and I'm going to be moderating today's presentation. Before we begin, I just want a quick disclaimer of confidentiality. This presentation is for informational purposes only, and its contents may be subject to change. Quick introduction. Next to me, you're going to be joined by Matt Miller today. Matt's our VP of Product for Litera's Drafting Suite. Together, we're looking to walk you through Litera's vision for augmenting our drafting tools with new generative AI capabilities and the enhancements we've already made within our content library solution, Litera Create Content. Our agenda for today includes an overview of who Litera is, how we amplify impact for legal professionals around our globe, our guiding principles towards Gen AI, and an overview of Litera Create Content with this exciting new generative AI technology at work. You're going to see a quick demo of our newly enhanced tool and get a better understanding of what's next for Litera's drafting solutions. Before we dive in, there's quick ground rules for today's session. This webinar is being recorded and will be shared with you via email. If you've got any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat and one of our product experts will answer. If we run out of time and you've still got unanswered questions, we'll try and reach out to you over email. So first, I want to start with Litera's mission. Our mission is to provide software tools that help lawyers and business professionals focus on their craft and expand what their firm can accomplish, all while helping you improve your competitive advantage and increasing client satisfaction. Over the last year, we've taken the time and care to dig deep into our brand and update how we organize our product portfolio as a whole. We've reoriented our portfolio to law firms' needs, from legal work to firm performance and to firm governance. And we oriented our solution to solving the unique challenges of unique users across your firm. As AI can rose to the top of the agenda for firms this year, we've been at the forefront of leveraging AI in legal tech for a number of years now. This slide sort of lays out our extensive experience leading that charge, starting with Kira back in 2011. With Kira, we developed more than 1,400 machine learning models to date, trained by our in-house legal knowledge engineering team on over 1 million contracts and other documents, finding clauses and data points in those documents that are relevant to your lawyers. Their work to date amounts to about 40,000 lawyer hours and more than 13 terabytes of training data gathered in that process. If you watched our Evaluating AI in Legal Work webinar, I think our product manager, Brian, mentions that's equivalent to someone working about 24/7 non-stop for almost 5 years. The timeline also shows our early awareness of LLMs and consideration of their capabilities and limitations. In parallel with that, we have the history of Clocktomizer, Contract Companion, and Litera Create, and how they were at the forefront of making impact in the legal industry with NLP and AI. Down at the bottom, we've got some key statistics that illustrate Litera's experience providing enterprise-ready solutions on billions of dollars of corporate deals and helping thousands of customers amplify their impact. Gen AI represents the next step in enhancing the products we already have. It's an evolution, not a revolution. With Gen AI, we aim to bring exceptional value to the practice and business of law in your firm, backed up by more than 25 years of experience in legal tech. We want to allow you to drive meaningful, actionable, and trustworthy insights from your data and make them easy to access. We also aim to become a trusted advisor to help you navigate the complex and dynamic AI market by harnessing our expertise, perspective, and track record of innovation. When we first started playing around in the world of Gen AI, we realized that legal had one common, prominent problem that has never been solved. and that's unlocking the most valuable law firm IP, which is your experience. Experience and knowledge are at the core of your value proposition to clients. Your firm is going to put its experts on the matter and leverage the firm's collective relevant experience and wisdom to drive differentiated outcome for your clients. From a drafting perspective, imagine truly enabling a third-year associate to tap into the 3,000 plus years of collective wisdom at your firm. But that's remained the elusive holy grail of legal tech, maybe until now. Why is this collective experience so elusive? Because law firm data is fragmented. It's either trapped in siloed systems, or worse, resides in unstructured data like documents, time cards, or emails. And what's even worse, sometimes it simply lives in partners' heads, inaccessible to everyone else. Even when the data does exist and is accessible, often there's little or no contextual metadata around it, enabling you to find what you're looking for. And finally, because the data is so siloed, it's usually not accessible to lawyers in the places where they work, like Word, Outlook, or on their mobile. With the next frontier of AI, we think that's going to change. And more importantly, for your firm to flourish, we believe that has to change. And at Litera, we want to bring about that change. We think that change is going to be built on three core technology pillars. Firstly, a 360 data foundation, which has to be at the core of your AI strategy. Firm-specific AI that marries your firm's data with the power of next-gen AI, with robust trust and security safeguards. And thirdly, intelligent workflows that feed on that firm-specific AI to get the right lawyer, the right insight, in the right time, at the right time, in the right place. When we looked at this vision and what we're looking to solve, we underwrote that with some guiding principles for what we're doing. Firstly, we have to resist the temptation to just inject chatbots everywhere we can. The application of Gen AI has to genuinely further our mission of amplifying your firm's impact. Secondly, we don't want to we can't overlook that other forms of AI and machine learning aren't obsolete, and we need to use the right tool for the right job. Verifiability has been core to the premise of Kira for years. This idea that human plus AI is better than human or AI alone. And we need to ensure that your lawyers remain in the loop with full traceability. One of our core beliefs is that lawyers aren't going to and shouldn't try to become prompt engineers. The onus rests on us as your partners to remove that burden from them so they can focus on the law. And lastly, we're not going to release anything until we've thoroughly tested it for accuracy and can give you a clear representation of where you should expect it to perform and where it will not. And that's a skill we've learned over many years with Kira. By following this philosophy, we've developed a range of projects leveraging Gen AI into our products with the help of some of our top law firms guiding us. We're bringing the first wave of this innovation to you in the next few weeks, and there's a lot more in our sights. With Kira, we're combining our market-leading machine learning with Gen AI to further accelerate and improve the due diligence workflow. These new capabilities empower legal teams to discover and verify information, export results, and produce reports faster than ever and with total confidence. The first release, a Gen AI feature called Smart Summaries, is available now for current Kira customers to opt in. In drafting, we're empowering legal professionals to have access to a firm's collective knowledge so they can easily insert clauses, definitions, and contract information into their documents within Microsoft Word. With Litera Create Content, your lawyers don't have to spend valuable time and effort searching for the best content. They'll have it at their fingertips. And that's going to be available in Q4. And lastly, more innovations coming soon to get answers to complex what's market questions and leveraging your firm's collective experience and deal data using natural language Q&A. This webinar is the last in a series of webinars we've held this week that cover each of these products and enhancements. Our team will share links to the on-demand webinars so you can see what we're doing with Kira and Foundation in more depth. And lastly, based on discussions we've had over the last few weeks in Litera, One of the top concerns is obviously around security. We know the importance of securing our customers' data and providing services that scale and support ever-changing market demands. We're doing it by building on trusted, responsible, and secure cloud platforms that solve global challenges. We're creating amazing, modern, usable, fast, intuitive, and competitive experiences that customers love. The technology industry is an ever-changing landscape, with new technologies emerging every month, and we're constantly evaluating, reviewing, and selecting technologies that support our customers' needs and demands. Alignment with industry-leading security, data privacy, and compliance standards is at the center of our use of new and emerging technologies. Now I'm going to pass it on to Matt to do the exciting stuff and provide you a more detailed vision for our drafting tools.
Thanks, Greg.
Over to you, Matt.
All right, so we're going to take a look very specifically at drafting now. The webinar is obviously titled Litera Create Content, and we'll drill into that very specific component of drafting, but kind of as a way there. We want to talk about how generative AI can be applied, or how we see taking our guiding principles that were a couple slides ago that Greg outlined and applying those, or laying them on top of some of the key capabilities and functions that drafting serves, and how we can continue to leverage those capabilities moving forward. So right out of the gate here, in terms of finding best content, that was a lot of what Greg was just talking about, kind of the holy grail, the ability to find key content within our document management systems or across multiple systems. That I'm going to dive into more here in a second. But we have applications today that allow you to store off clauses in clause repositories, share content, as well as search for content. We're able to extend those capabilities with some of the large language models and the natural language processing requests, and kind of, we'll call it daisy chaining of different data systems that these new models allow us to take advantage of. Next to that is the edit and proofreading space. This is our contract companion applications, dockets tools companion applications. They have features in there today that use natural language processing to help us anonymize key content. So if we are proofreading a document and we might be looking at names, dates, dollar amounts, and those types of things within that particular contract, we can help you quickly find those, turn those into variable content so that you can more quickly reuse that content in the future, or fill in new content specific to the matter you might be working on right at that moment in time. As we looked at what large language models might be able to help us in advancing these particular areas, is pointing out things that might not yet exist in the document. So we are very good right now at telling you what might be there and be inconsistent, but we're looking at ways to help at the empty paragraph marker, what is missing from the document, or what content exists in the document that might be out of date. For compare, it's very good. We have a market-leading application in terms of syntactic, or what we'll call red line comparing between documents. But what we can see the large language models offering is additional abilities around summarization, which is interesting within the comparison space, as well as substantive compare. How does these two clauses across these two documents differ substantively as I might look to make changes between them? If we bring one more animation out, there it is right there. This is kind of where, when Greg's talking about the holy grail, he's talking about how can we bring structure to unstructured data across multiple systems to give my users an additional leg up, or an easier way to find very relevant content, and how it interlinks and interplays with one another. We'll take a look at that here in a second as we go into Litera Create Content. Before that, if we go to the next slide, we just completed a generative AI survey, very kind of specifically targeted around drafting applications. So applications that would sit probably within your Microsoft Office, very specifically Word environments. The data set here is from about 35 different law firms and about 55 different respondents. 70% of those respondents are telling us that they're likely to implement some AI tools for document drafting in the next 6 months. Now, what that really was boiling down to was a lot of people looking at Microsoft Copilot, as well as value add features to existing applications they already own, which is kind of what we'll take a look at here in a moment. Also, firms looking to potentially pick up net new applications that are coming to market based on this technology. In terms of what is that one thing that we're looking for these applications to solve? It is helping my users find best content. It feels like it shouldn't take us hours or multiple emails to find what we're looking for. We know it's there, oftentimes spread across multiple data systems. So how can these technologies help us bring all that data from across multiple data systems into a centralized finding or searching capability? So the ability to take my natural language search request, how I'm thinking about what I'm looking for, and be able to put in a single place and get content back from multiple systems and have the most relevant content returned to me is the number one thing people are looking for. We'll have a preview of what that looks like in our Create space here in a moment. And then another just core function within legal is comparing documents. Again, we were talking about syntactic compare. Our Litera Compare application has been doing this for many, many years. What the large language models allow us to do is add this new layer of comparing of documents and clauses within the applications. And substantively, how are the clauses changing in meaning based on how someone's marking a document up? We've got some compare for meaning capabilities built into the Create application, but this is another area we'll look to extend for our core compare apps. If we go to the next slide, this is a preview of what I'm going to do a live demonstration of here in another minute, but this is an application that is an O365 modern Office add-in web app. That means for those PC users, those Mac users, those people dabbling with Word Online, Word for Teams, all of that, this application will work for you. It would be the same user experience across all those devices. It is helping your users find that best content based on those natural language searches. From an integration perspective, we do integrate with iManage and NetDocs, and for those of customers who have Foundation or soon to be Foundation customers, we'll integrate with that system as well, and we'll show kind of the power of that Foundation integration here in a moment when I start the demonstration. I'm going to now share my screen. Share my screen. Perfect. All right, so everybody should see my Word document at this point in time. It looks like you do. All right, so what we're looking at here is the future of Litera Create Content. And as Greg mentioned, this is something we're shooting for as a Q4 release of this year. If you're a Litera desktop customer, this is a value add to your subscription. If you're a Litera Create Content customer, this is a value add to your subscription. And absolutely, if you are not any of those types of customers, we are happy to sell you this application. The application, as noted, would work across multiple device types and interfaces. I'm showing it here in what I'll call classic Word. All I've done so far is click the Show Me button, which is going to allow me to kick off those natural language requests. It has the ability to have a suggest workflow, so I can, if I already know the document I'm looking for, and I've got it on screen, and I just want to see if a particular paragraph or paragraphs in the document might have a better version or language for me to use, I can use the suggest feature. And then the Q&A lets me ask any question of the document that I might want. I'll go ahead and demonstrate each one of those. So far I click Show Me. I've got the task pane open on the right, and again, I can type in any natural language request I might want. We do have a most recently used list because I've used the application before. It's remembering my last known natural language request, and I asked for some additional services clauses for matters named executive compensation that billed more than $18,000. I'm also, if I haven't used the system, I'm getting some suggestions on the types of searches I can run. This is all configurable to the firm. So if you know the types of searches your users are constantly looking in the document management system for or asking for, you can let them, you can populate that here in the help section of the app. Now, because I have Foundation turned on, I'm also getting this additional indication that I can have a kind of a supercharged searching capability set for additional matter attributes that would belong or live within that particular system. If I take this natural language request right here, that's not the type of search you could run in a document management system. But with the large language models, what they allow us to do is bring structure to unstructured things. That is an unstructured natural language request, and the large language model is going to help me bring structure to it and send the request to Foundation, then to my document management system, and give me the most relevant information. And what it's going to do, because I have foundation turned on, is it's going to first go look for matters named executive compensation that billed more than $18,000. It's going to go find all of those matters, and then it's going to send those matters to the document management system and surface the relevant information back to me as the user. That's how I'm able to have a very short result set here. Now, if I don't have foundation, your result set, you might just get a couple more clauses returned back to you, or documents or definitions. Still a ton of value. If you don't have foundation, you're just able to query for more things with the foundation integration, very specifically the matter attributes that reside in foundation. So in this example here, I've got the one clause returned to me. If I want to see some additional context on the document that clause resides in, I have access to it right here. You can see that's an instance where we're showing we can open the document directly from iManage, a copy of the document from iManage. If I want to link out to Foundation to see that matter information and get additional context on that, I can click here and I will be jumped right into my Foundation instance. Next, I'm going to show the suggest workflow. So perhaps I've got a document on screen. I already knew the document I wanted, and really I just need some help with a particular clause. Maybe I want some suggestions on this affiliate clause. So I'll put my cursor in that paragraph. I'll choose suggest, and what the application will do is it'll go out to my document management system and it will return a series of clauses that match as closely to what I'm looking for. A couple of things we're doing automatically there as part of the search. You can see we've turned on 2 filters. So we are looking at the document and we're saying, what type of document is it? Okay, this is a security purchases agreement. We also were able to determine that the governing law was New York. Now, the reason we're auto turning on filters is to reduce the result sets back to your users. They don't want 200, ideally they just want 2 things to pick from. If you disagree, you don't want those filters on and you want a larger list, or the user wants a larger list, you can turn filters off. If they need to continue to narrow their search in, you could turn on additional filters. Like I might want to filter on a particular author I know oftentimes has best content for me. But again, if you would have searched for security purchases agreement from 2003 with a named author, all those filters would have been turned on automatically for you. Additionally, what you'll see here is because my cursor is an affiliate, which is in the definitions section, it knows to only return definitions to me, an additional component where we're intelligently looking at the document structure to return the most relevant results. Now that I've got my 2 result sets, I could turn on a classic syntactic compare using Litera Compare here, and I can see what the insertion, deletion, move differences are between the paragraph in the document and the one that's being recommended to me. I also have capabilities to use the large language model for things like summarization. If this was a longer clause, I don't really need to run it here. It's a shorter clause, but if it was a longer one that had been returned to me, I can use the summarization feature to summarize that particular clause. I can use the compare for meaning feature. If the syntactic compare gave me some information I was interested in, how does it differ from an insertion deletion perspective? That's of interest to me. But if I also want to know substantively, how does the paragraph in the document differ from the one that's being recommended to me, I can use the compare for meaning feature and I'll get that result here back in my window. Now, if I like the clause that is being returned to me, but I just want to, I could insert that wholesale, but I could also make a slight change by putting it in edit mode, making any modification I want, and then choosing to insert it. So the ability to insert it wholesale, or you like 95% of it or more or less, you can come into the edit mode and just make that edit right there and then insert it back into the document. And for all the style or format lovers out there, you'll know that you'll see that we are adhering to the style definition that is set at that paragraph marker so that it looks and feels like the other paragraphs around it. All right. For the last feature we'll show here is the Q&A feature. I'm just going to throw a basic question at it. What is the purchase price? There is no limit to document size. There is no limit to the number of questions you can throw at the application. What it does have is an initial integration point here for, again, Foundation customers. So not only can we go and search the document for particular questions you might be curious on. We could also query matter information that might exist about this document that exists within the matter attributes in Foundation. Now, it's gone ahead and found a paragraph in the document for me. If I want to verify that that answer it's giving me is correct, I can click on the section it found it in, and it will navigate me right to that particular location in the document for me to verify that particular answer. That is where we're currently at with the application. Again, general availability will be the Q4 timeframe, most likely November, December timeframe if you're looking for specific months. I'm going to stop sharing at this point to bring back up our PowerPoint deck briefly. And if we go to the next slide, as mentioned, Litera Create, what I was just demonstrating, is coming soon. Again, for Litera Desktop customers, this is a value add. For Litera Create Content customers, this is a value add to look forward to later this year. But we also have more things in the generative space coming for drafting. Lots of actually exciting stuff coming for drafting, not just in the generative space, but in the modernization and kind of unification process as well. In the check space, we're looking to add some Q&A capabilities as well as some additional compare for meaning in there as well, potentially tiptoeing into helping you automatically generate definitions of defined terms that aren't yet defined in the document based on definitions that exist within your document management system, not necessarily using a stock LLM for that, of course. And then in the compare space, I briefly touched on this when talking about compare for meaning, but looking to be able to substantively add some type of substantive compare capabilities to Litera Compare, so you not only get the syntactic capabilities you have today, but also the substantive capabilities, potentially some summarization added as well, summarizing the to explain the track changes or insertion deletions that might have occurred between the two versions of the document. All right, with that, I'm going to hand it back to Greg to talk about next steps for us.
Thanks, Matt. Super exciting stuff. I'm really pretty energized by what you and the team are developing here. So in terms of next steps, if you haven't already, let us know if you're interested in the early access program for what you've just seen. We've got a couple of customers helping us beta and test this product, and if you'd like to be involved in that, let us know. With regards to Kira, the Gen AI enhancements have already been released as of the end of August, and current customers can opt in to use the feature by contacting our support team. I'd encourage Kira customers to get started with that. Smart Summaries is just the first in a series of new feature releases coming to Kira over the next few months. And if you're interested in what we're doing with Foundation and Gen AI, especially to gain a better understanding of the rich value of Foundation and the deal point solution, you can use the same link to apply and join our early adopter program that will be available later this year. We will provide links in the chat for our early access programs. And again, we encourage you to apply so you can get the value of these tools firsthand. We're also going to provide links in the chat to the on-demand recordings from our webinars discussing our plans for Foundation and for Kira. As a reminder, today's webinar will also be made available on demand, and we hope you'll watch them and share them all. So with that, time together today has come to an end. So thank you all for your time. This is a really exciting time in legal tech. We're glad you're joining us for the journey. Again, we'll be answering all your questions in the chat, and if there are any questions we aren't able to answer due to time constraints, we'll email you with a follow-up response. With that, I hope you have a wonderful week, one that's filled with amplifying impact in your firm. Thanks all. We hope to see you again soon.